Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to my super chat. Thank you so much. If you want to support my voice long term or on this live stream, I thank you. I know that there are other things that you could spend your money on during this crisis, but if you want to support me and my voice, I thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, and after all, I am the only person in this entire planet and definitely country and on YouTube who has accurately stated since 2017 in my Huffington Post article, Clinton 2020 is reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Hillary Clinton will be the nominee. She will lose to Trump again. That I'm 90% sure of. I'm 100% sure of since February of 2017 that Hillary Clinton will be nominee. We see this right now. Biden's campaign is done, pretty much done. But let me just... the New York Times inadvertently proves my point. If you go to the New York Times after watching this, you go to the New York Times... And, by the way, Luke St. Martin, Eric, H526, the two best moderators, thank you very much for your hard work and just being awesome all the time. You go to the New York Times, the cases and the people's lives lost. You first look at the map. The entire map of the United States of America. There's only 1, 2, and then a third major, well, 3 or 4 or 5, but major clusters in the Northeast where this is going on. Chicago and Illinois, Michigan, around Detroit, New York, and not all of New York, but just New York City, around New York City, New Jersey, and... you have, I mean, that is the entire country. You see a couple clusters here in New Orleans and then around Miami. Look at the map. The map is it's not full of red giant circles where you have people who are losing their lives. And if you look at the map, go and look at the map. The states that are heaviest hit are run by Democrats. Illinois is a Democratic machine. New York is a Democratic machine. Tammany Hall, just like, I mean, the Democratic Party today is just like Tammany Hall. Go look at the map. So anybody says, well, Trump can't reopen the entire economy. It's like the country is affected, of course. The states most affected are run by Democrats. Andrew Cuomo on March 1st said the risk is low and there's no reason for undue anxiety in New York. The risk is low in New York. Now look at the top states. New York has 180,000 cases. And then it drops to 58,000 in New Jersey. Then it drops to 23,000 in Michigan. Then in Tennessee, way down the map, there's 5,000 cases. You mean to tell me that the entire United States economy has to be tanked? The entire economy, every state, every single state. Look at the New York Times. It's right here. It doesn't take some kind of PhD to just look at the map and look at the numbers. The states with Democratic governors were dreadfully unprepared, especially New York. You remove New York from the cases and the people who lost their lives. We don't lead the world. We don't. You know, when Hillary Clinton, who will be the nominee and then lose to Trump, said, "Well, you know, America first." Nah. You take out two senators who were Democrat, a governor Democrat, de Blasio Democrat. Most of the representatives, most of the people in Congress from New York are Democrat. The state Senate and state House Democrat. So Southern District of New York, all they did was focus on Trump forever. Bill de Blasio ran for president as a Democrat. New York, and Andrew Cuomo was suing the federal government for travel restrictions. Do not tell me that President Trump has to keep the economy forever. We have, what was it now, more people unemployed than any time since the Great Depression. They bring this up, but then when President Trump presided over record low unemployment, they said, oh, so what? Now they're going to say when the economy rebounds, it's going to be President Obama's economy again. But I'd like to know why you have New York, Democrat, everything Democrat, governor Democrat, New Jersey, okay, Democratic governor, Michigan, Democratic governor. Massachusetts is a blue state, okay, but they have a Republican governor. But if you consider the fact that this is a blue state, we'll just, the way I'm looking at it is the governors. So Massachusetts is 4th, California 5th. They have a Republican. California Democratic governor, Pennsylvania Democratic governor, Louisiana has a Democratic governor, Illinois obviously Democrat. So Florida and Texas. Okay, so you have 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 out of the top 10 states are run by Democrats. Or 7 out of the top 10 states have Democratic governors. Okay? Seven out of the top 10 states have Democratic governors. And when you get out of the top 10, you're looking at, it goes from 180,000 cases in New York with 8,627 people who've lost their lives to like Indiana, 7,000 cases with 330 people who've lost their lives to like, Ohio has 6,250 cases with 247 people. Tennessee, this is on par with the average flu. And maybe the average for the regular flu, is far more devastating in these states when you look at, the similar timeline historically. People don't look at the actual numbers. Go look at the numbers. Go look at the numbers. And they say, well, President Trump has to, he can't open up the entire economy. Well, why not? Why not? Alaska, 255 cases, 6 people. Not one person in Wyoming has passed away, thank God. In West Virginia, 6 people have passed away. They have 593 cases. And Wyoming hasn't even shut down, and they have nobody who's passed away, thank God. Look at the map. Go to the New York Times. It's interesting how nobody goes to the New York Times. They always talk about how, so many misleading stories, really harmed Clinton. Like, I don't know, when Attorney General Loretta Lynch met with Bill Clinton to speak about golf, Brexit, and grandchildren. Nebraska, 729 cases, 18 people have passed away, but you're talking about millions upon millions of people in Nebraska. J-Man, Democratic states won't reopen, HA depression coming. J-Man, it could be a recession. I don't think so. You're right. You're right about the Democratic states, but I believe California is going to stay shut till May 15th. They can't stay shut forever, though. J-Man, thank you. Julie Lewis, just catching up, but I'm here. Love my H and moderators. Thank you, Julie. Julie Lewis, thank you. Brad Crowdhouser is supporting the voice of Radio Freedom Goodman. Brad, always a pleasure, Brad. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Brad. J-Man, Julie Lewis, thank you. Brad, thank you very much. Always a pleasure. Thank you. The unbelievable part of all of this is that every state has different needs, different economic needs, different has a different story. You don't go ahead and tank the entire country. The entire country, you don't tank. Because the top 10 states have a really horrendous issues because of lack of preparedness. They're the ones who are not prepared. There are people now, 16 plus million people, unemployed, and you better believe that if Clinton were president, they would have changed their tune, just like they didn't mind obtaining a dossier made with Russian sources, a dossier created in part, allegedly, with the help of Russian sources and one Russian intelligence official. The dossier, if you look at Vanity Fair, how it was, there was a great how ex-spy Christopher Steele compiled his dossier March 30th, 2017. Oh my goodness. They were so proud. They were so proud of how this was actually linked to Russian intelligence officials. Let's see. They were so proud, and they didn't mind literally purchasing a dossier. Then they say, well, Clinton didn't know. Clinton didn't know that it was purchased by, there was a Russian intelligence official. This is really interesting. So, source A, source B, they had all these sources that were, one person was a Russian oligarch or, government official, and then one was actually, here's a Vanity Fair article, talks about it right here. Source code here, Vanity Fair. They were so proud of how they worked. They were able to obtain information from the horse's mouth, from Russia. Because that, on one hand, they were like, oh, how good were these sources? Consider, let's listen to this. This is how you know that if it was a Democratic president, they would never have tanked the economy. This is how you know. How good would these sources? Consider what Steele would write in the memos he filed with Simpson. Source A, to use the careful nomenclature of his dossier, was a senior Russian military ministry figure. Source B was a former top-level intelligence officer still active in the Kremlin. And both of these insiders, after speaking to a trusted compatriot, would claim that the Kremlin had spent years getting its hooks into Donald Trump. Not one mention of the dossier being accurate. Not one indictment from the dossier because it was an entire charade and part of a deception. There was nothing truthful about the dossier. And they were very, very, very proud. Very proud. They were very proud that it was linked to actual Russian sources. They had no problem, absolutely zero problem working. Zero problem working with here we go, the computer's freezing up as usual. But they had zero problem working with Russian sources. Absolutely zero problem. Absolutely zero problem. They spent years utilizing this dossier to go after President Trump. And the whole thing was allegedly compiled with help from numerous Russian sources. They worked with Russia, allegedly, and that was okay. But if Trump worked with Russia, oh my God, we have to investigate forever. Then they're tanking the economy, and you better believe that there's a political component here. Do you think this is a political party that had 4 million plus people vote during a pandemic in Illinois, Florida? My God almighty, why does this take 1 million years? What is wrong with this computer? Oh my God, this is so frustrating. You better believe that if it was a Democrat in office, you better believe that they wouldn't be so willing. I love when you hear we can't open the economy up too soon. Why? Most of the country is in suffering the way most of the country does not have the same issues that New York has. Most of the country doesn't have the same issues that New York and New Jersey and Michigan and other states run by Democrats have. So why tank the entire economy? That makes no sense. And still 9 states have said the heck with this. We're not tanking. But hold on one second. Danny Loth, the dollar is in trouble. Thank you, Danny. David, do the Bill Clinton extension bit. Okay. Oh my! It's the Democratic Party is an extension of me. That's right. Oh, it's my extension. Source E, an ethnic Russian and close associate. So you have this. They actually utilized a source from. The Democratic Party purchased a dossier that was compiled. With a source B was a former top-level intelligence officer still active in the Kremlin. So there you go. And then they say, oh my God, we can't have foreign interference. What do you think they would say, knowing that they forced people to vote, because you didn't have to vote. Or Democrats decided to vote, or they had their primaries on March 17th, which had nothing to do with the Supreme Court. And 4 million people during a pandemic voted. So don't tell me that voting's okay. You don't want to disenfranchise people, but you don't want people to earn a living. How does that work? And it's like, it's not about being a millionaire. It's about, there are people living, most of the country lives paycheck to paycheck. 16 million people are unemployed. 16 million people are unemployed. You could have simply told people to wear a mask, engage in social distancing. You could have simply told people. La Petite Silver! La Petite Silver, hello! Hello! Flackmeister, hello, thank you. Thank you, Flackmeister. Murray J, hello. Flackmeister, thank you. You could have simply told people the following. Look, you know how we're gonna tell you to vote during in the rain while getting pelted by 2-inch thick hail, Yeah, you know what? You probably don't have to do that. You know how we're going to tell you, oh yeah, go vote. 1 million plus people voting for Biden, 4 million total in Florida, Illinois, and Arizona. Instead of voting, you can actually work and provide for your families. So they make the exception for voting for the Democratic primary just to kick Bernie to the curb because they have utter contempt for him. But you couldn't have told people in the entire countries. Let's say, for example, you look at New York, New Jersey, Michigan, top 3 states. These are generally Democratic-run states. Okay, you have Whitmer in Michigan. New York, you have Cuomo. New Jersey, you have a Democratic governor. You could have simply said, in states that are most affected by this, they're going to shut down the states. If you're a state that's not affected by this in the same manner, you still have engage in, practice social distancing and use a mask and, be safe. And if you have any respiratory issues, don't take any chances. Phil Murphy in New Jersey. Don't take any chances. If you have respiratory issues, if you've ever had respiratory issues, serious ones like asthma, be safe. Take precautions, but the entire country, okay, the entire country, don't think there's not a political component to this. How could there not be when you look at New York leading the country with 180,000 cases, then New Jersey has 58,000, and you go down, Kentucky has 1,851. Tennessee has 5,114. Texas has 10 million more people than New York. They have 13,000 cases compared to 180,000 cases. So how is there not a political component to this? Texas has 10 million more people than New York. 10 million more people than New York. So, by the way, one thing I do disagree with President Trump on is the bailout of the U.S. Postal Service. President Trump, the White House should bail out the Postal Service. We need a functioning Postal Service. That's probably after a couple military strikes that I definitely disagreed with in 2018 or 2017. This is the biggest thing I do disagree with. But President Trump wants to reopen the economy. So he's right. He's 100% right. He's 100% right. And you look at there's just the political component pertaining to this is so unbelievable. Just look at the New York Times, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do, it's like, look at the New York Times, YouTube policies, and every CDC, WHO. Nobody has a problem with the New York Times. Go look at the New York Times. New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Massachusetts, California, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, Illinois, Florida, and Texas. And Florida and Texas have a lot more people than New York, but they're like 9, 10. Of the states I mentioned, 7 are Democratic governors. 7 have Democratic governors. 7. Okay? And then after the top 10, you have instead of 8,627 people who've lost their lives, you have, it goes down from Texas Texas has 265 people who've lost their lives. And the thing is, it's well, if you want to tank the economy, because that's the appropriate response, then also reinstate the 18th Amendment to ensure that there are no drunk drivers. Ban alcohol. You want to know how many lives are lost because of alcohol? If you want to say that, you're doing something to save lives, then ban alcohol. Loud citizen. Good evening, Prophet Goodman. Thank you. Just go ahead, ban alcohol. But you look, it drops down to, let's see here. Indiana, 7,000 cases. Colorado, 6,000 cases. Ohio, 6,000 cases. Tennessee, 5,000 cases. Virginia, 5,000 cases. North Carolina, 4,000 cases. Missouri, 4,000 cases. And you're talking about a couple hundred to 400 people or so. Okay, and in some states, you have 34 people. Iowa, Delaware, Oregon, Minnesota, 64. Idaho, 27 people. Idaho, I don't believe was even shut down. Arkansas wasn't even shut down. 25 people lost their lives. 1,228. This is horrible. There's nothing to be happy about if you have even one person. But what I'm trying to say in aggregate, the states that have the most carnage, 8,627 people who've lost their lives in New York. Okay, in Virginia, 130 people lost their lives. There's 5,000 cases in Virginia. There's 180,000 cases in New York. There's something going on with New York. Obviously, people live in close proximity with one another. But Alabama, 3,000 cases compared to 180,000 cases in New York. So you shut down Alabama too? Wisconsin has 3,213 cases. South Carolina, 3,213. Nevada, 2,720 cases. Mississippi, Utah, Iowa. These are the number of states below 2,000 cases: Oklahoma, Kentucky, Iowa, Delaware, Oregon, Minnesota, Idaho, Kansas, Arkansas, New Mexico, New Hampshire, Nebraska, Vermont, South Dakota, Maine, West Virginia, Hawaii, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, Alaska. So we shut down the whole country? I don't think so. Ray Hawk! Ray, thank you. James C., I think you're right. You don't shut down the entire country when you have... I mean, we did, but you don't keep the entire country shut down forever when you have how many under 2,000 cases? How many states under 2,000 cases at this point right now? It was supposed to be, oh my God, the projections. Now Fauci revises his projections. Oklahoma, Kentucky, Iowa, Delaware, Oregon, Minnesota, Idaho, Kansas, Arkansas, New Mexico, New Hampshire, Nebraska, Vermont, South Dakota, Maine, Virginia, Hawaii, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, Alaska. So I think that's around 20 states. 20 states have below 2,000 cases. Below 2,000 cases. And Arizona, Alabama, Wisconsin, South Carolina, Nevada, Mississippi, Rhode Island, and Utah. So that's what? 13? That just names 13 states have below 4,000 cases. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So from 2,000 to 4,000 cases. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 states. And then you can just look, and it's like the issue is a national issue because there are no borders that could prevent a virus or bacteria. But there's a reason that at this point right now there are only 5 states. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, 9 states that have over. Well, actually, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 states out of 50 states that have over 10,000 cases. 13 states. So 37 states have less than 10,000 cases. You shut down the entire economy. And of the 13 states that I mentioned, the vast majority are run by Democrats. So I think it's like, 4 Republican and 9 Democrat states, governors. So there's a political component to this. Obviously, Democrats were completely blindsided by all of this. They were completely blindsided, but they make this into it's a national issue. It's a national issue. It's a national issue, but look at where in the country this is the most dire situation exists. So, for Assange, exit equals China, exit aka Azim. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think that if you look at you look at the entire country, and you look at the unemployment, which is over 16 million. $16 million people. And then you say, okay, do you think that if it were a Democrat in office, they would have a different tune? Just like they have a different tune pertaining to the Steele dossier. Just like they have a different tune pertaining to the DNC reaching out to the Ukraine. They don't, just like they have a different tune regarding Biden and his allegations and the criminal complaint against him. Just like they have a different tune with Al Franken and Bubba Bill and Al Franken, Justin Fairfax, Eric Schneiderman, Anthony Weiner, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Keith Ellison. I mean, you can go on forever. Where's the obsession? Do you even know the names of the people who accuse them? They don't care. And you have Hollywood celebrities that show up to Supreme Court nominations Scion, hello. You have Hollywood celebrities who just show up miraculously to Supreme Court nominations or hearings, and then when it's Biden, they say, "Oh, okay, well, it's okay, it's okay." And then Biden's campaign's like, "Oh yeah, you got to go ahead and the media has to vet these claims." It's like, oh, okay. Now we understand. Great. And people are like, well, you got to give. There's Josh Hawley and a Democratic Congresswoman were saying, oh, well, pay for 80% of wages for workers of any business. Okay, would it be a loan? I'm not sure if it's a loan but for how long? For how long? Why not get people back to work when you know that if it was a primary, Democrats would say, yeah, go vote in the rain. If it's a primary, they say, go vote in the rain. Ramla Farah! Ramla, hope all is well. Hope all is well, Ramla. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're safe. And it's going to be amazing, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be amazing. Ramla, thank you again. Thank you again, Ramla. When you look at ladies and gentlemen, at the political component to this, Mrs. Super Chat issue from Danny Law. Oh, okay, sorry. Let's see. Did I? Ray Hawk. Danny Roth! 2 cases, that's awesome. No lives, that's okay. Danny, thank you. Thank you, Danny. 37 minutes in, can I obsess over Clinton? I'll wait a couple more minutes. You look at what American politics has become, and Democrats simply want more pain. They just want more unemployment, and that's the political. They don't care about safety, because if they did, they would tell people, look, the Supreme Court gave us a raw deal. We're actually canceling the Wisconsin primary. It's raining. There's hail. We're going to cancel this, because whereas we're going to suffer politically, we'd rather do that than have people possibly suffer physically. But they didn't do that, did they? They didn't do that. That's the if you know there's going to be a hurricane, but you have a birthday party set up for the kids, do you still go through with it? you still say, well, you know what? People can show up if they want to. We're not going to force them, but we're certainly not going to cancel them to disenfranchise all the people who want to celebrate the birthday. No, you say we're gonna reschedule this or cancel it because there's a hurricane coming. And even if people were stubborn enough to still show up, we just don't want to even give them that option. But leave Wisconsin aside. You have 4 million Democrats on March 17th in states like Illinois is one of the top states. 19,000 cases in Illinois. How many were obtained when people were voting in Illinois? Florida, Illinois. Florida has 18,000. They're in the top 10. 9th. But how many people got sick standing in lines for a long time just to vote in the Democratic primary? They didn't postpone their primaries. They could have. A bunch of states did. There's like, how many delegates? There's like 1,000+ delegates on June 2nd. Clinton could just roll in on June 2nd, get the 1,000+, and then just tell Biden, just give me what you got, and let's just end the charade right there. Clinton is going to be nominee. She was always going to be nominee. It was always a theatrical performance. It was always a theatrical performance. It was always a theatrical performance that people just, then people say, oh, well, well, I guess it's going to be Biden. It's like, no, it's not going to be Biden. Biden is, okay. Do you know who's even more, who's more realistic than Biden? De Blasio. Yeah, it's true. De Blasio. De Blasio's more realistic. De Blasio's more realistic. And de Blasio and Cuomo, now that they're going at it, Paul Browning! Dude, can I sponsor your awesome channel? How to network at Gmail. That's wonderful. Thank you so very much, Paul Browning. I can be reached at contactgoodman78@gmail.com. First of all, thank you very, very much for the super chat. Right now, I'm doing super chat and Patreon and the ads. But thank you so very much, Paul. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Paul Browning. Thank you. Free Assange! Are you talking about Amy Goodman? Paul Browning, Free Assange, made a funny joke about Amy Goodman. No relation. No relation. Paul Browning, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul, very, 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 very much. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated, especially during this time. Paul Browning, thank you again. Thank you. You look at, ladies and gentlemen, Paul, Free Assange, everybody, you look at what's going on, and it's just a matter of time before we leave. This is like a dream. This is like a surreal dream where we're just stuck in this kind of purgatory. This is like a surreal dream where we're stuck in purgatory. And people really believe for some reason, and I don't know why, they truly believe that Biden's going to be nominee just because they see they can't look and say okay, there's a million different ways where Clinton could become nominee. Paul, thank you again. Thank you, Paul Browning. Mitchell Smith! HA, how about William Barr declaring that a country with a Great Wall is our greatest threat, but yet Dems blamed everything on Putin land? Go figure. I actually don't think, Mitchell, I'll tell you. Mitchell, thank you, as always. Hope all is well, Mitchell Smith. Paul, thank you again. Thank you very much, Paul. Mitchell Smith, thank you as always. I think that I don't see us having a real adversary Mitchell, right now, aside from organizations I can't name on YouTube. Those organizations are like, that issue is still ongoing. We also have an issue, the potential for nuclear confrontation with any possible adversaries. That's a big issue too. Bucolic Buffalo! I think the stimulus is a waste. I don't need it, and those already shouldn't need. Only people with lower paying jobs laid off should get it. Bucolic Buffalo, thank you. The stimulus is meant to jumpstart the economy. So, the stimulus is meant to jumpstart the economy. So, it's really meant to jumpstart the economy. I think that people get checks, then they spend the money. People get the checks, they spend the money. The economy is needs some kind of spark to get going again. So that's what I think primarily the issue is. That's the reason for the stimulus. In addition to people who are living paycheck to paycheck. I think that's the biggest issue also. It's like Democrats gleefully say, keep the economy. We have to keep the economy, Don't worry, just from speaking too long. Don't call SEAL Team 6. Paul, thank you. Bucolic Buffalo. I think that the people who are living paycheck to paycheck right now, because of this, need the stimulus. The loans also. We need loans. We definitely need loans. You can't just go. Thank God we had a record-breaking economy prior. Because you know what? Without the economy, without the economy the way it was, you're not looking at a rebound the way there will be a rebound. There's going to be a rebound in the U.S. economy. And, of course, they're going to say, it's not that big of a deal. See, right now, there's a schadenfreude within the Democratic Party. There's like this belief or this enjoyment almost, this glee. Oh, my God, look how horrible this Trump did this, Trump did that. Look at the states that are worst run or worst hit by this are run by Democrats. New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. If you combine, New York alone, if just New York compared to countries around the world has more cases just in the state alone compared to a great many countries around the world. You can look at the world map. Then they go, okay, new cases report each day. The curves and the charts are the same charts that you would see, virtually the same charts you would see for any flu season Perhaps not exactly the same, but you see it going up just the same as you would any flu season. So a lot of this is a sensational, just sensationalism regarding Trump's America. Oh, look what's going on. Oh, my goodness. You didn't have, if Democrats took it seriously, they wouldn't have had 4 primaries. They would have canceled the 4 primaries with 4 million plus people. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting how Clinton finally becomes nominee. It will be very interesting. Let's see. Fauci revises estimates. So America's most influential just revised downward. Okay, so let's see here. Pretty unbelievable. Fauci lowers the estimate, revises it downward, and you can't say, oh, well, the shutdown's working. It's like, no. You could have had social distancing, and it still. You could have had social distancing and still had a functioning economy. You just, at the office, wherever, just go ahead. I mean, you go to Whole Foods or any place, there's social distancing. There's social distancing right now at the supermarket. You could have had that with an economy that wasn't completely shut down. But there you go. There you go. The models are always, you base economic decisions on models that are always the models that are always revised. But then it's unbelievable because they went ahead and they still tanked the economy. You could have had the same numbers of social distancing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you go with the it's just unbelievable. America's most influential model just revised its estimate downward. Fauci lowers U.S. forecast to, okay. So this is around the same number of people with one of a flu season during President Obama's administration. It's pretty unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable. So you've tanked the entire economy because of a model that the model said one thing. You tanked the economy. Schadenfreude. tutoring from a German teacher. Did I not pronounce it? Schadenfreude. Ed on time. The Fed is a scam. Thank you, Ed on time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. The interesting thing is, this social distancing it's unbelievable. They lower the forecast after the economy has 16 million people unemployed. 80% of the people who've lost their lives have had prior health issues and were over 65. Same as the normal flu. And this is obviously worse. Obviously, listen to the WHO and CDC and be safe. But you could have simply told people who were at risk to stay home. You could have simply told the most vulnerable people to stay home and don't take chances. And don't visit them. And still add a functioning economy to 16 million people. We have more people unemployed than at any point since the Great Depression. So, yeah, there was a political component here. When you had 4 million plus people, why didn't Democrats cancel their primaries? If it's about lives, why didn't they cancel their primaries and postpone all those primaries till June? We couldn't, rather suffer physically than politically. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts. Thank you so very much. Paul Browning, thank you so very much. Paul, thank you so very much. I will try to be back, let's see, around 11 or so. It's 9. I'll try to be back around 11. And everyone, thank you. Paul, thank you again. Have a great evening, everybody. I will see you all very, very soon, hopefully around 11. Might be an upload, but I think we'll do a live stream. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much. Have a great, great evening. To my super chat, Paul, and everybody here, thank you so very much. I'll see you.